The Heart of Art is sponsored in part by the Texas A&M University Art Galleries, which includes the Stark and Forsyth Galleries located inside the MSC. The galleries provide a variety of opportunities to experience art exhibitions, events, and hands-on activities. More information at uart.tamu.edu.
Support for KAMU is provided by the Academy for the Visual and Performing Arts. This fall, the Academy will present Kelsey Bell's experimental opera Morning on October 24th and Ballet X, Philadelphia's contemporary ballet, on November 5th. More information at academyarts.tamu.edu.
The Heart of Art, scoping the Brazos Valley for the best artists and bringing them to your radio. Howdy, Aguilan. Welcome back to the KMU Studios. My name is Hector Nino, and you're listening to The Heart of Art. Today in the studio, we have a very special show planned for you. Here in the studios is Johnny Beikirch. He is lead singer and rhythm guitarist from the local band Skunk Money. And this band, apart from Johnny, comprises of Brandon Kempf as lead guitar, Jesse Carrasco as bass guitar and backing vocals, as well as David Beikirch in drums. They've been performing for 6 years now, and you can listen to their music on Spotify, Apple, or YouTube if you just look up Skunk Money. So, hi, Johnny. How are you today?
I'm great, Hector. How are you? Thanks for having me here.
Of course. I'm so excited for our conversation. I think we're going to have a great time here.
Yeah.
But my first question, I was a little curious about the name Skunk Money. I mean, I the picture of a skunk, I think, is like very, I mean, I love that image for like a punk band.
Right.
Is that part of the reason why you chose this name?
So there is a set meaning that I like to let people open for interpretation.
Yes.
And like I said, yes, there is a meaning behind it, but I also like people to use their imagination. I agree. The skunk it's a nice mascot. That's the word I was looking for.
Yeah, like a representation.
Absolutely.
For your band. Yeah. I mean, I'm thinking about like the fear mechanism of like smelling bad and using that to protect yourself. I feel like that idea is very punk.
See, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Open for interpretation.
Exactly. Yes. All right. Well, I want to go into your background in music first before we get into your experience as like a band. So where are you from, and do you think that had an impact on your music at all?
So I'm, born and raised here, Bryan, College Station. I don't know that necessarily had an impact on my music. I would say it was more so just the house I grew up in. It was a very music-oriented house. At about like 5 or 6, my dad brought home a drum kit, and I was instantly infatuated with it. And God bless his soul, he when he would play, I would set up, pots and pans in the same orientation as his drum kit and take whatever I could find to just bang the crap out of him. And while he was playing, which I'm sure was very annoying, but it was always a house that, we're singing or playing music all the time. And just, it's always been something I've been around.
Yeah, so it's just like a family thing. Like your grandparents were probably in.
Well, so that's the funny thing. I think my dad and I are pretty much the only ones that, are the musically inclined when it comes to playing. It's more so our whole family is just very into music, Okay. It's always been something. For anyone that remembers VH1 Classics, that was always on like Saturday mornings, and I just loved watching either the music videos or the live performances of bands I like or bands that I didn't know of yet, and then instantly got hooked on. So
the drums were your first instrument.
Correct.
That you touched.
Mm-hmm.
Is that still your chosen instrument?
It's definitely the one I feel the most comfortable on when it comes to, if it's on the fly, hey, I need just play something real quick. I would say drums is probably it. I mean, I have been singing since I think I could talk just because it's fun. But, bass and guitar came a bit later in early high school because my parents put me in guitar lessons, but I was more in love with the idea of being the rock star versus practicing and bettering myself to become the rock star when it comes to playing guitar. So that didn't take early on, but later on I ended up figuring it out.
Yeah. So what was that moment that you decided you wanted to be a rock star?
Well, I mean, since I was a kid, I loved watching, you know, all the bands I love. For instance, I have a wide range of, you know, bands I really look up to that I grew up with. I mean, anywhere ranging from Green Day to Rush, funny enough, which I know is a very broad spectrum, but that's definitely where my love of that came from, was just watching them. And, you know, for instance, Green Day, Billy Joe Armstrong is a very big influence on my, you know, stage presence, and I was very in love with how he would always demand the audience's attention, you know, and crowd involvement, which is what I try to do with our shows as well, is make it not only fun to listen to, but fun to watch, make it an experience for everybody, even if it is a, you know, really small venue we're playing or whatever. I like it to be immersive, you know.
Yeah. And I mean, being that you had this passion for quite a while, I'm guessing the first song you wrote was pretty early on as well?
Well, yeah, there's a lot of, I honestly wouldn't call them songs, but as a kid, yes, you know, I loved making up weird band names, and me and my friends would act like we were in a band. And I'm talking we're 7, 8 years old, but never did anything. But I would try and write these songs, quote unquote. And but yeah, I remember the first song I genuinely, you know, wrote out on guitar and had some vocals. And it's funny because it kind of has a country feel to it, which is super goofy, given I'm definitely more, you know, rock centered. But it's yeah, it was probably 8th grade. You know, that officially made me really excited about, okay, this is possible to write an actual song. And then from there on out, it's, you know, I couldn't tell you how full my notes app in my phone is of just random lyrics or whatever, of just things that pop into my head. You could maybe call it poetry or just rambling, one or the other. But yeah, no, that was probably about the first time I wrote a song.
Yeah, that's interesting that it was like a country song, because I feel like that'd be kind of like impacted by like the area where you're at.
Well, yeah, no, that's a good callback to, maybe it did affect, you know, I guess it was just easier. Not saying country music is easy.
No.
It was.
What you were exposed to.
Right. It was easier to come up with something like that, those fun little rhymes.
Yeah. I mean, I tend to ask that question about like, where are you from, just to kind of get an idea. But I think nowadays we're just exposed to everything now with like social media and like the internet. It doesn't even matter where we're from. We can just get inspired by anything anywhere.
Right.
But yeah, I love that, you know, you went your own way with the rock. And now I'm wondering about like that list on your notes app. Is that part of like your writing process?
So I guess my writing process is a little unorthodox, as it's very all over the place. It could start from, yes, I write down these kind of poem style things that, you know, little lines that end up rhyming with each other. I just like the way it sounds. It's something I believe in or whatever. And, you know, end up later down the road, I find a progression and put that to it, and oh wow, it matches. The reason why I say it's a little unorthodox sometimes is because given my drum background, there have been times where I've written songs just starting with a drum beat, you know, something simple, rhythmic, and then build on that, record it, and then, you know, bring out the guitar and see what fits with it, and then which is essentially working in reverse for at least most people would say for writing a song. But yeah, it kind of, it really depends the moment that stands out to me, whether it's starting from drums or starting with a chord progression and lyrics like that. It's whatever works in that moment, I'll take it, you know.
Yeah. So it's different every time.
It feels that way.
Yeah.
It does feel that way because I don't like pushing it. You know, the times I've tried to push a song, I end up just absolutely hating it, and then that could have been good, and then I just don't touch it again.
Yeah.
So
I feel that like you can hear the desperation. In the
exactly,
song. Yeah.
exactly. I don't want my songs to sound like that.
Right. So why do you write music? Is it like a form of like catharsis to like let something out, or is it just like the thrill of creating something new?
I mean, I would honestly say it's both because music is, you know, everything that I am. At least it feels that way. I can't imagine living in a world with no music, but yes, it is definitely a form of therapy. You know, a lot of our one album we have out, Ego Deaf, a lot of it centers around, you know, when it was written, which, you know, 17, 18, around that time. It was a lot of anxiety of, you know, becoming an adult, like figuring stuff out like that, which a lot of songs have those tones of just, you know, trying a coming of age kind of thing, you know, where it's obviously sounds like a teenager wrote it and is just really confused as to becoming an adult and how to deal with day-to-day things, not really wanting to grow up. So yeah, in that form, I would say yes, it's a catharsis for sure, but there also is the thrill of, you know, once you get a song put together, for the most part, it's exciting, and all you want to do is just keep working it out. And I mean, I don't want to say my favorite songs, it sounds a little pretentious, but some of my more favorite songs I've written were ones where it was right in the moment, and, you know, essentially wrote it out in like 20 minutes because it just, you know, the brain was firing on all cylinders, like, oh, this sounds great, and like, this is exactly how I'm feeling right now, that sort of thing. And I think the coolest part about that, to add on to the thrill aspect, is seeing people into it at shows, or have people come up to me and say, I really love this song, and like, this is how I interpreted it, and how it makes me feel, which it could be completely different from what I was feeling writing it, but it was it's still really cool that people have their own image of what that song means to them. And yeah, I love that feeling. So that's the thrill aspect for sure.
Yeah, that must be awesome. All right, you guys, we will be going on a quick break, but do not go anywhere. We will be right back.
The Heart of Art is brought to you by the Academy for the Visual and Performing Arts at Texas A&M University, bringing innovative and culturally diverse visual and performing arts programming to Texas A&M University and the Brazos Valley. The Academy for the Visual and Performing Arts fosters the creativity of our community via the transformative power of the arts.
I know you've been performing for a while. Are there any like favorite moments like that you can like remember off the top of your head that you're gonna like remember forever?
Definitely well, I've got two for sure. When we started recording our album, like officially recording it, and my good buddy that I worked with at the time, James Clopel, he actually, you know, mixed, mastered, produced the whole thing. He sent one song over. It's a song called Same. I think it's the second or third track on the album, but you'd think I'd remember that. He sent it over as kind of like a, hey, let me know if you like how this sounds. If not, like, I can just give you all the files and you can find somebody else. And I'll never forget listening to it on the way home from work and just almost tearing up, like just so excited, like, wow, this is actually happening. I came home and my partner, Beth, I instantly plugged it into our stereo at home. I was like, you have to listen to this. And she goes, that's you? I was like, yeah, that's me. It's weird, huh? So there's that moment, and then the day we released the album, which was Valentine's Day of 2020, that was, I remember I got in my car right at midnight when it dropped and just drove around all Bryan College Station listening to it because I just couldn't believe that, you know, I had listened to all of the songs prior to the release, but it was something about opening Apple Music and, oh, wow.
It's there.
It's there. It was a crazy moment, but yeah, those two will really stand out for me musically.
Yeah. You know, funny enough, one of the things that I wanted to ask you about, you know, Beth was here talking about, you know, Junk Drawer by Beth.
Yeah.
And I was wanting to ask, like, is having a creative partner an advantage for you creatively?
1,000% it is. I mean, she's actually the artist of our album artwork for that album. She did it all by hand, and it was really cool to watch that, you know, start from a blank canvas to what it is now. And I just loved having her be able to take creative control on it when, you know, she would ask me, do you want this? Do you want that? I was like, I want you to just, you know, take creative control over this, right? Because if I'll overthink it, you know, so please take it out of my hands. And it became an awesome piece of art that I have up in our like studio wall. It's a lot bigger than it looks on your phone screen, but no, it definitely helps, you know, two artists in one house. We kind of bounce off of each other, whereas I'm not a great artist. She'll still ask for my opinion, like, what do you think? Well, like, what does this make you feel? So on and so forth. And in turn, I'll ask, hey, do you think this sounds good? And there's something about having your partner that says, you could maybe tweak this a little bit, or this line sounds a little odd, so maybe try that, because I know that that's genuine. Whereas, you know, anybody else I'd ask to be nice, saying like, oh yeah, no, it sounds great. And it's like, it's not the answer. I was like, I want something to build off of. So no, I really admire her opinion a lot. And she definitely helps me creatively 100%.
Yeah, it's about that constructive criticism.
Absolutely.
Right?
Well, yeah, I'll take it all day long.
Yeah, I mean, I asked that because I myself have a partner, and like I know that we encourage each other all the time, and I know we have that in common. So I definitely wanted to make sure to ask that. I know you've also traveled for performances, right?
Yeah, I mean, all within Texas for sure. It was we've been to Houston, obviously here, Austin, Dallas. Obviously, we want to continue to get into the, you know, Austin market, which we've got some in the books at the moment, but I know a lot of it we're focusing on writing and recording some new stuff at the moment. But yeah, no, we've had the opportunity to go to a few different places a few different times. The bummer was that high of releasing the album on February 14th of 2020. You know, do the math. About a month later, everything was down, which really kind of tanked the desire and whatnot, because nobody knew. I mean, saying this is like beating a dead horse. We all know that everything was just very unsure. But yeah, you know, when I was really excited about that, I reached out to a lot of different, you know, people that book, you know, little tours or long-term tours. And there was one guy that was, you know, excited about it. And a week later, after talking to him, he was like, well, we'll be in contact later because I don't see it happening. So it is what it is. And luckily now I have gotten that drive back, especially with, you know, pumping out some new songs that, like I said, hopefully we'll be recording before too long, you know, so.
Feels like we're all like starting to move again.
Right. No, yeah, it's, the sea legs are starting to disperse.
Yes. All right. Well, I mean, I know that one of those Austin people that you've been helping out was Mr. Cat with some music production for them. Do you see more music production in your future?
Yeah, no, I absolutely love it. I love the process of recording and the production aspect as well. It is very it's very cool to go from, just dry takes of certain things and making them sound, as quality as they can for your ears. 1000%, that's what I want to continue to learn from, which has been awesome with the Mr. Cat stuff, is, not only drumming for them, but at the same time being able to bring that music to life. And I feel like I learn something new every time I sit down, which is even cooler. So that's, music production is definitely something I want to continue to do. And our future project for Skunk Money, I plan to do the same. So which we'll see what happens with that, unless I can't stand to hear my voice anymore. It's like, okay, I need somebody else to take this on. But yeah, no, it's I definitely love that aspect of music. It's kind of science meets music in a way.
Right. Yeah. Well, we're excited for that, for what Skunk Money has in store. Definitely looking forward to that. So this is more going into like theory of music. Like, what do you think music does to people? You've been exposed to music your whole life.
I mean, I think it's a sense of relation with your listener and giving them something, a little piece of your life that they can interpret themselves, which again can be very therapeutic for people. I mean, I know it is for me. I have songs that if I feel a certain way, if I'm upset, angry, frustrated, I have select few songs that I'm instantly going to go to, whether that helps get out of it or not. It's still like a good release of energy. And same for the positive, happy stuff, it's I think it's a way to relate to other people without even knowing them, which is really cool. It's a, I guess, form of humanity, trying to bind each other together versus pull each other apart, which I feel like we see every single day. But yeah, it's a connection that really for me is the biggest part, is, not even knowing a person, but they feel like they kind of know you in a way or can relate with you in certain aspects. But yeah, just a huge form of expression, emotionally mostly, obviously.
Right.
So
kind of like validation.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. I love that. Well, Johnny Beikirch from Skunk Money, thank you so much for stopping by and talking to us about what it is that you do with this band.
Thank you. Such an honor to be here. Appreciate it, Hector.
All right, how about we listen to some of their music now? So from their first album, Ego Deaf, this is Cherry Lips by Skunk Money.
Cherry lips made me see stars from above.
to finish off the show, we will be listening to another song from their first album, Ego Death. This is titled Americano by Skunk Money.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
I've been trying to think some more, and I hate to think of things I adore. I don't want to feel the way I do when I wait to face my morning blues. So I will wait for my turn to feel alright. So I will wait for my turn to feel alright. I don't wanna push my feelings on you, but I need some reassurance from you. I feel lonely when I'm not alone, so I'll make do with my TV shows. So I will wait for my turn to feel alright. So I will wait for my turn to feel alright.
I'm Hector Nino, and you've been listening to The Heart of Art, a production of 90.9 KAMU FM. You can find all of our shows anytime at kamu.tamu.edu.
Support for KAMU is provided by the Academy for the Visual and Performing Arts. This fall, the Academy will present Kelsey Bell's experimental opera Morning on October 24th and Ballet X, Philadelphia's contemporary ballet, on November 5th. More information at academyarts.tamu.edu.
The Heart of Art is sponsored in part by the Texas A&M University Art Galleries, which includes the Stark and Forsyth Galleries located inside the MSC. The galleries provide a variety of opportunities to experience art exhibitions, events, and hands-on activities. More information at uart.tamu.edu.